having been set on the backdrop of an Irish political troubles and having grown up in this era as well, have you drawn on any of your own experiences at all that you brought into the film?
I get you. I bet a lot of the experiences are probably subconscious ones. I think like one thing I guess is a thread that I'm very interested in is the idea of I think Northern Ireland can be a place that's pathologically secretive. And what I mean is I think the truth has somehow been seen as dangerous. So I do remember growing up and being told by my parents, like, you got to be careful that when you tell people your full name or what school you went to, because they'll know if you're Catholic or Protestant. So it's this withholding of information, fear of speaking out, you know, and that kind of like that ripple through of just something as simple as your name or your school being so potent. You know, I understand what that feels like, and I was very interested in exploring that within a family dynamic and then a political dynamic. So I think that was, and you know, in many ways you know, I left Northern Ireland when I was 18 and I studied in, you know, 2 hours down the road in the Republic of Ireland. And it was only then when I was sort of, you know, telling my stories about, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, and in order to go through school, we had to go through the police barricades. And it was because they would build, they would have the police stations right next to the Catholic schools so that they wouldn't blow up the police stations. But it did mean that, you know, you'd have to go through concrete barricades with snipers pointing at you to go to school. And, you know, I remember, you know, thinking that was normal. And then I remember we were sitting doing an exam and the nun came in and she's like, girls, don't panic, but there's a bomb. And we were delighted because we didn't have to finish the exam. We were sent to the back of the school while the army dismantled it was a fake bomb. But so there was moments like that when I was in Dublin telling these stories, people were like, oh my God, what? And that's when I realized, oh shit, okay. I haven't really thought a lot about where I came from and what it meant to live that. My family weren't touched directly by the Troubles, but you know, you don't have to look too far in Northern Ireland to see evidence of it.
So yeah, I was asking, for me, it felt like a Thelma Louise vibe with the relationship between the sisters. Was there any inspiration taken from that at all? And you know, how close did you and Nika get?
Well, it was 5 years of going through the highs and the lows and the ups and the downs and the give our best in every way, and that is like together. You know, it's a very intimate relationship and it's a very vulnerable relationship, and it was, you know, really special and rare to get the chance to do that with someone.
Because I think it's worth saying that this film was made in a different way. The story was written specifically for Nika and Nora-Jane. And when Nora-Jane means 5 years, she means we were workshopping and developing the script together. So I think when actors have to workshop, it's so much more in depth, and you have to be really rigorous and honest and authentic because you're workshopping your own truth to the story. It's not like rehearsal where here you go, you've got the script, you got the bullet points, go for it. And you don't need to paint it all because you're going to leave that for set. In workshops, it's like 100% commitment to that choice and to that truth. And only from that 100% commitment do you get the integrity of the story and the character, which they find.
Yeah. And also, of course, we hit on the subject of suicide, and it's quite a very kind of touchy subject to address. What is your experience with grief that you both brought to it as well?
I had lost someone close to me through suicide, and we had done a lot of research too about psychosis and about mental health and about trauma and transgenerational trauma, and this concept of transformative crisis, which is, you know, with trauma, it can come back up in the form of psychosis, and to face it and to kind of work through the experience again, you know, can lead to a resolution, and that's, you know, that you heal through the kind of facing of that difficult truth and those feelings if you didn't get to relive them, or if you didn't get to face them at the time of experience trauma, which a lot of people don't. You just go into survival mode, you know, that at some point you need to grieve that experience. And so allowing yourself the grief frees you.
And I think, you know, while I was writing and workshopping the film, I hadn't experienced a grief in my life that of that scale, that what was about to happen us with Nika's passing.